Sex is one of those funny things that we all think in terms of having the sex talk with our children, i.e. sitting them down and giving them a lecture. It doesn't actually work that way. In a sense, you've been passing sexual information to your child from the time they could walk, talk and hear you. We pass messages about our attitudes towards sex, and one of them may be, we don't talk about that sort of thing, which is always, therefore, very difficult to start later on when you haven't been doing it from the beginning. I think the important thing is to recognise that you don't have to know everything. And I think this is what often is the barrier for parents. They feel, if we're going to have the sex talk, or if I'm going to talk about sex, I need to know all this stuff, and I don't. Because after all, where have you learnt it from? From your parents, who didn't learn it from their parents? It's not surprising that we find it difficult in this country because we don't have good sex education, and we don't have a history of being comfortable about talking about it. So for a start, forgive yourself. Secondly, don't feel you have to know everything to be able to answer the questions that your kids will come up with. The phrase that I always have burnt into my mind that I think is really useful is, I don't know, let's go and find out. Of course, with the internet now, you can type in the question and get those answers. But it's not just about the facts, it's also about the feelings, the talking about it. How do I feel about this? How do you feel about that? And if you suspect that your child is having early sex, premature sex, that's very scary. Take a deep breath. You need not to approach it angry or frightened or upset, because then your child is going to clam up and run away. If they're very young, you need to think in terms of abuse, because, you know, sex under 13, that's a worrying situation, and it's probably something that they've been led into either by someone else or because something's happening in their lives and they're looking for comfort or relief or something. You may need help. You may need some support, professional help yourself, and that's where we can help you here at Family Lives to seek that help and find it and get yourself really supported to help them. But it's about maybe getting the books, getting things that you can put on the table and say, should we talk about this? What do you think about that? Because the support you want to be offering is, for a start, for them not to have a pregnancy, for them not to get a disease which is going to affect them for the rest of their lives, and for them perhaps to come out of an abusive situation. And even if it's a situation they're happy with, at least to be safe and protected. And those are all things you need to gradually talk your way through. That's where you need to get that grounding of someone supporting you in order to have that conversation with them to support them.